On September 3, 2025, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse stood before Congress, urging lawmakers to release all unclassified documents related to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Their call for transparency was met with bipartisan support from Representatives Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, reflecting a growing demand for justice. Meanwhile, Donald Trump dismissed the case as a Democrat hoax, intensifying political divides. This stark contrast underscored the urgent need for accountability against a backdrop of persistent secrecy and controversy. A group of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell survivors held a press conference on Capitol Hill, calling for the release of all Epstein files. They described their experiences, detailing how they were recruited and abused, and the lasting trauma they have endured. One survivor, a registered Republican, directly addressed Donald Trump, inviting him to meet her in person to understand that the trauma is real and not a hoax. The survivors' push for transparency is supported by a bipartisan group of lawmakers who are attempting to force a vote on a bill to release the files. The text notes the courage and anger of the survivors, who feel empowered by sharing their stories together. Donald Trump's reaction. Just moments after the survivors' press conference, Donald Trump in the Oval Office called the Epstein case a Democrat hoax that never ends. He compared the situation to the Kennedy situation, suggesting that no matter how much information is released, people will never be satisfied. The text points out that even some of Trump's most fervent supporters, like Laura Loomer, question the hoax claim, noting that Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison. The White House stated that supporting the bill to release the files would be considered a very hostile act to the Trump administration. Anushka DiGiorgio, a survivor who came forward publicly for the first time, identifying herself as one of the key witnesses at Ghislaine Maxwell's trial. She is reported to have known Donald Trump through Maxwell and addressed him directly in her remarks. Tara Palmieri, the journalist who writes the Red Letter on Substack and hosted the podcasts Broken, Jeffrey Epstein and Power, The Maxwells. Vicky Ward, an investigative journalist and co-producer of the podcast Chasing Delane. Alex Wagner, an MSNBC senior political analyst. Virginia Giuffre, a prominent Epstein survivor whose brother spoke at the event, pleading with lawmakers to stand with the victims. Political and social dynamics. The event was noted for its rare bipartisan consensus in Congress, with members from both parties supporting the release of the files. The text suggests that the victims have successfully shifted the narrative away from a political conspiracy and back to the core issue of the crime and its impact on the victims. The flyover of military planes, arranged by the president during the survivors' speech, was interpreted by some as a symbolic act of silencing the victims.